Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome to all our witnesses. I'm sorry I was late. I was in another committee. How many of you drive an electric car, own an electric car? Okay. You gentlemen don't?
If you mean electric by a battery electric, no. If you mean plug-in electric, yes.
Okay. Of the three folks who raised their hands, how many do you own gasoline-powered cars at all? No?
No, Senator.
No, all electric. Okay. Let me ask you all this, and please give me brief answers, because there are five of you, there's only one of me. Okay? If electric cars are so swell, how come we have to pay people to drive them?
The upfront costs of an electric vehicle are about $10,000 higher today than they are for an equivalent internal combustion
they're more
engine vehicle
expensive. Anything
today,
else?
but that cost is declining substantially.
Right.
And so this is a temporary intervention to help the auto industry strategically compete in global markets and to transition as
You
battery
didn't
costs
hear
fall.
my admonition, okay?
Sorry.
Doc, how about, if electric vehicles are so swell, how come we have to pay people to drive them?
I think sorry, Senator, I'll step
I'm
away
sorry, I
from.
can't see the names.
Oh, it's Gross, Ms. Gross here. I'll defer to not comment on policy questions about incentives and so on. Maybe
Tell
pass
me
it
your
off to
name, I
Ms.
can't
Hinman.
see your name tag.
Gross? I can switch,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I can swivel it.
I apologize. Would you start over?
I was just going to say, I'd like to defer on policy grounds, not to talk about policy incentives and so on, defer over to my
Why not?
colleague here, Ms. Hinman.
You don't believe in electric cars?
Oh, totally support electric vehicles and drive 3 of them myself.
So if they're so swell, how come we're having to pay people to drive them?
Welcome back to the channel, where politics meets reality. Today's spotlight? A no-holds-barred Senate showdown where Louisiana's own Senator John Kennedy unleashes on the electric vehicle agenda. If you've ever wondered why the government pays people to drive EVs, or what it might cost to bribe Americans to go electric, buckle up. This one gets heated. 3 panelists raise their hands. EV owners. But when the senator presses them on why government incentives are needed, if EVs are so great, we get policy tap dancing, shifting eyes, and a whole lot of "I'd prefer not to comment." One panelist says she didn't use the incentive, she just loves the car. Another mentions child safety and no muck in the garage. Valid points. But Kennedy wasn't having it. Here's where things get real. 283 million cars in America. Just 1.6% are electric. And outside of California, the numbers plummet. If this part hit home, smash that like button and make sure you subscribe. We break down the truth behind the headlines every week.
They're so
2015.
swell, how come we have to pay people to drive them?
Well, I purchased, I can only speak for myself, but we purchased our first vehicle in 2015 because it was easier to charge, cheaper to drive. It drives better, faster, smoother. There's no muck on the bottom of our garage. And frankly, when I had my first child, some of the safety features were just better.
But here's what I'm sorry, you're not answering my question. How many cars do we have in the United States?
280.
This lady right here, in the middle. I'm sorry, if I could see your name, I wouldn't just point to you.
If I could, I'd like to defer to my colleague who
Well, I'd
has
like to hear
better.
your answer, okay?
How many calls?
How many cars are there?
295 million?
Okay, and what percentage are electric vehicle?
1.6.
Okay, hold up that chart. Here's where all electric vehicles are. California loves them. The West Coast loves them. Everybody else is kind of lukewarm. Okay, and I'm trying to understand why.
We're spending billions, but no one can tell you how much it'll take. That's a problem. Then Kennedy drops the mic. He talks about global competition, the reality for middle-income families, and, the price of policies built on optimism instead of math. The senator makes one thing crystal clear. Americans want clean air, but they also want answers, not fairy dust. This wasn't just a hearing. It was a wake-up call. EVs may be the future, but without transparency and accountability, that future feels a lot more expensive than we're being told.